Valenzuela.
Yes, sir.
Did I get it close?
Yes, sir. No, right on.
Oh,
right
my
on.
goodness. Tommy, a miracle among miracles.
You did it. You did it.
All right. So Tommy's producing the show, and he's back there. He's going to guide us through this. So I met you because you sent me was it on Messenger?
It was a DM on Instagram.
See, folks, I know how to do that.
There we go.
To be actually to communicate.
That's
so
right.
What was the message?
So the message was, hey, my name's Anthony Valenzuela. I introduced myself briefly as a student government president. I said, hey, I'm a big fan of your show. I want to hopefully come on if that's okay with you. You know, my parents always taught me growing up, it never hurts to ask. Always ask. The worst that can happen is they say no. But if they say yes, here I am today, right? I get to meet cool people like yourself.
So, yeah, Tommy, this we're going to go a long way with this. So, you saw one of our videos.
Yes.
You sent me a message. I responded, and here you are.
And here I am.
So tell us about yourself, Anthony.
Yeah, so my name's Anthony Valenzuela. I'm the student government president at Miami-Dade College, Kendall campus.
Yes.
Right, because there's 8 campuses. I'm the president at the Kendall campus. I also have a podcast called the Mindset Podcast.
Say it again so they hear it.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called the Mindset Podcast, where my co-host and I, Gabriel Russo, we focus on really spreading the message of positivity and having these conversations with pretty high-end guests, such as the president and vice president of University of Miami. We have board of trustees from Miami-Dade College, campus presidents, and we have them on the podcast to talk about their success story, how they made it to where they are, so we can spread that message to people like me, people my age, 19, 20-year-olds that maybe don't have that exposure. So that's what I do. And also, I'm a real estate agent. My parents have a real estate company called the Valenzuela Real Estate Group. And
they buy and sell real estate. Don't worry, folks.
Yes, yeah.
You need a good guy. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So I do a little bit of everything. You know, I'm trying to get my feet wet.
So
here.
you're based upon your age, you're under 20, right?
Yes.
You've done a lot of things and are very assertive. So my hat's off to you. By the way, we've had the Kendall campus president here, right? Tommy?
Dr. Charlot.
What?
Dr. Charlot.
Yes. And then we had North Campus was here a couple days ago. Yeah. Yep. So a great school. I went there a long time ago.
All right.
A long time ago. Okay. So there are lots of people that have podcasts, right? And a lot of different ways to do them. Why are you doing it that way that you're doing, the type of guests that you have? Why?
Because simply students who would listen to this podcast, which most of my viewers and listeners are college students, wouldn't get that exposure, wouldn't hear these kinds of guests if it wasn't for having this podcast. So we go for, like I said, politicians. We've had Robert Asensio on the podcast.
Who was just here.
I met in the park. I ran into in the parking lot.
Yeah, interviewing Mayor Pinecrest Joe Corradino.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so we have politicians. We've had Jose Felix Diaz, who is a lobbyist now, former state legislator. We have people like this that can really inspire our guests. It's really about that, inspiring our viewers to see that, hey, they can do it. People that look like them can do it. So can they.
So when you say that look like me, if you will, why do that?
Very good point. So most of our guests are born and raised in Miami. They come from Miami. They come from neighborhoods that my viewers come from, the Kendall area. They're not these, what it seems like, maybe these rich people who came from very good neighborhoods. No, they're very humble people that had humble beginnings, like Robert Asensio, as you know. And it inspires them because they see people that grew up where they grew up. So why can't they do it?
You know, you bring up a really good point. And we've interviewed a lot of people. We have a show that's also called Race to the Top. It's for people of color to try to help people so that they can, other people can see people that look like them.
Right.
When you're born, as I was, all right, that it took me over 50 years to say, oh, I'm beginning to understand about this thing called white privilege. I never looked at it as privilege. I just looked at it the way it was.
Right.
But it was in having conversations with people across the board that I've learned a little bit more about society and a lot about myself. I wanted to go over some recent appointments. All right. So this is, since you brought up about people can look and see what's potential for them. So President Biden is going to nominate Lloyd Austin, who is the for the Secretary of Defense, big position, African-American, first one. Monica Richardson was just named the executive vice president, first one Black woman at the Miami Herald, and it's a 117-year history. Of course, our vice president, all right, and then Rashida Jones will be the first Black president of MSNBC. So this is all recent, but it's hundreds of years plus a couple of weeks. So we understand about when people look and they want to say, "Oh, I can relate to that." All right. So what I like to, I usually wait till the end, but let's do it now since I
Okay.
brought it up. There's some little kid who's probably young man, 15 or 16 years old, not much younger than you. All right. And I bet you've been doing it like this for a long time. I want you to look right in this camera, right over here, and talk to him or her about striving for the things that they want.
Yeah, if like I said in the beginning, if you don't ask for the things you want, you'll never get it. The worst thing that can happen when you ask for something is they simply say no. And that's not a big loss. But if you just go ahead and you ask for opportunities, you ask to be in the room, the chances are you probably will get there. So it's just creating an opportunity for yourself. Nothing in life is given. You have to truly work for what you want. You have to get it. You have to have the right conversations with the right people. And that'll come with experience. But you have to start from an early age. That would be my number one advice for any young folks listening right now. Start at an early age and just ask.
So when we looked at, you probably, remember Michael Jackson when he was a little kid.
Right.
But when he was this big, you knew he was going to be a star.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just knew that.
Yeah.
All right. And when you look at Mike Tyson, he was 19 or 20 years old. He won the world champion. You knew when he was 13 years old, as much as he was a thug, and as much as he did some crazy stuff, the guy was a monster fighter. All right. And you knew when you looked at them that they were going to be really good in what they're doing. And there's so many people, that have been in your life that helped direct you. Who are some of those people?
Absolutely. Maya Angelou has a quote that says, I stand as one, but I come as 1,000, right? That you see one person on the podium maybe speaking, but there's 1,000 people behind them that you don't see that have helped you be in the position that you are. I would definitely say that I'm a reflection of my parents, of my father and my mother. I take their good skills, right? As they say, I take the best of them, and that's the product that I am today. And I definitely give it up to my parents.
Well, it's nice of you to honor them with that. So let's say you're going along your path and you're going in a certain direction, and you get to this road and you go, I don't want to do that anymore. What do you do?
That's totally okay. Life is a long game, and for example, Mike, I see a 40-year-old as being young. A 50-year-old is young.
Thank goodness, Tommy.
I had to throw that in there. But no, seriously, I really see a lot of people see 50-year-olds, they say that's old. People my age, right? I see that as being very young, because there's so much time that we have, and we can't get to the age where we're like, oh, we're 29 and I'm not married and all my friends are married, and you feel the pressure of society to say that, hey, I'm spending too much time, I'm wasting time. That's not true. We have so much time. We have so much time left, and I think it is okay to change your mind. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The more experiences you have, the more likely you are to change your mind, and that's okay.
Okay, so right now you're the president of the student council. Is that
student council, student government.
Student government. How long have you had that position?
So for about half a year now.
And how did you get that position?
So in Miami-Dade College and all campuses, but I go to the Kendall campus, they hold elections. So the student body at the Kendall campus elected me to be their president, along with 4 of my executive board members. So we have vice president, secretary, chief justice, chief coordinator, and I am, of course, the president.
And when was that?
So that was in this past May or April.
You mean 2020?
Yes.
I know this year has been sort of.
Yes, this year has been all over the place.
All right. So when you did that, did you know that you wanted to be in politics?
I didn't. But becoming student government president and the experiences and the conversations I've been able to have because of this position has made me really interested about possibly being in government one day. So
why did you in the first place do that, and what caused you to do it, and who was on your personal board to encourage you?
Yeah, so that was definitely my parents. My parents were encouraging me to do it. I've never been student government president or part of any kind of student government related things in middle school and high school, which was offered. I just was never interested in it. But something happened, and when I entered college, I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. That was a big theme for me personally going into college, getting out of my comfort zone. And being student government president was not something I was necessarily comfortable with. I wasn't good at public speaking at the time. I wasn't comfortable doing it. So I wanted to push my buttons a little bit, see what I was made out of. And I ran, I got elected, and it's been a blessing ever since.
So there you are, you're having dinner one day and you say, oh, I think I want to run for student president because I heard it was open.
Exactly, just like that. Just like that. Yeah, it was actually my friends who pressured me to do it, because they said, oh, Anthony, I see you being student government president. Everyone likes you here. Go ahead and try it out.
So what did they see in you to say that to you?
That's a good question. I think what they saw in me is someone who wanted to help. I would always come up with these ideas for the college. Oh, we should have hammocks. We should have studying cubicles on campus and things of that nature. And I would only tell my friends that. And it came to the point where elections were open, applications were open. And they said, Anthony, you have all these great ideas for the college. We need someone like you to implement these ideas, to talk to the campus
How many
administration.
people was that?
That was about 3 or 4 of my closest friends on campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to share something that was